All right, buckle up, because what we're about to dive into isn't just a political takedown, it's a full-blown public unmasking of California's so-called golden boy Gavin Newsom. You've probably seen the headlines. Newsom, once hyped as a potential presidential contender, is now spiraling after some very unexpected voices. Yes, Bill Maher and Joe Rogan decided to torch the narrative he's been carefully building for years. And let me tell you, it was not pretty. Now, before we jump into the juicy clips and hot takes, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think the Democrats will actually run in 2028? Because if it's Newsom, yikes, let's go.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a f***ing con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors. Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician.
The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
And there it is, Joe Rogan, the undisputed heavyweight of podcasting, doesn't just throw shade, he body slams. This wasn't subtle, this wasn't political nuance. This was a straight-up character demolition. Rogan's basically saying what a whole lot of people have been thinking, but were too polite or too afraid to say. Gavin Newsom feels like a walking press release. Everything about him reeks of performance. Seriously, has Newsom ever done anything that wasn't calculated for the camera? This is a guy who tried to tell people to mask up during CO, then got caught partying indoors at French Laundry, no mask, full wine glass, zero shame, classic rules. Really not for me energy, and Rogan's not alone.
I was on KBLA yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want to run for president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but now this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that if you could win the... Look at the swing states. There's only 8.
Now, this was the match that lit the fuse. Bill Maher unintentionally kind of maybe possibly ended Gavin Newsom's presidential fantasy. And he didn't even mean to. Maher was actually trying to compliment the guy. But even his friendly circle is out here saying, yeah, no chance too progressive to California. Translation: you can have all the Botox and buzzwords in the world, but if the base doesn't believe you can win the swing states, you're toast. And Maher's show isn't exactly a MAGA rally. Okay, this is coming from the left that's got the sting.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a f***ing con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors. Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and you know that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
I mean, this isn't just criticism, this is identity annihilation. When people are comparing you to RFK Jr. and Trump, not based on policy, but based on authenticity, and you still come off as less real, that's bad, really bad. Joe Rogan didn't just say Gavin Newsom is a phony. He said he's not even human enough to be disliked properly. That's like saying, I'd punch him in the face, but I can't because he's made of wax. If the average American voter wants a candidate who feels real flawed, sure, but real Newsom's polished mannequin act isn't going to cut it.
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
And here's where it gets extra theatrical. Newsom clearly rattled decides to turn up the volume and try to recast himself as a defender of the downtrodden. But let's be honest, it sounds less like leadership and more like someone auditioning for a role in a Netflix drama about politics. He's yelling into microphones about morality, invoking the Founding Fathers, and acting like he's about to lead a march on Washington, but all anyone can think is, where was this energy when your cities were on fire?
Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
This right here, pure political cosplay. Gavin knew exactly what he was doing. He dared ICE to arrest him, not because he believed it would happen, but because he wanted that moment to clip the viral reel, the "Look at me, I'm a fighter" montage. But come on, this was a safe stunt. He's not an undocumented immigrant. ICE isn't interested in arresting politicians for grandstanding. So what did he do? He picked a fight he knew he'd never actually have to show up for. All bark, zero bite.
Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law. If they cross the line and commit a crime, absolutely they can. So there was no discussion about arresting Newsom. And so, you know, what he's done, he's failed that state. He waited 2 days of that city burning and people getting hurt, officers being assaulted before he made any declaration of an unlawful assembly. He's late to the game. President Trump isn't late to the game.
Tom Mann, former ICE director, wasn't having it. He shut down Newsom's fake martyr act like a boss. If Gavin really wants to be arrested, then go commit a crime. Otherwise, stop wasting everyone's time. And Homan's right. Newsom was late. Law was burning, cops were being attacked, businesses were trashed. And the governor, he was probably running focus groups to see which response pulled the best. This isn't leadership. This is the worst kind of reactive. Politics slow, calculated, and disconnected from real. People getting hurt.
I keep hearing this term ICE raids, ICE raids. What happened how this riot started is that ICE was serving a series of criminal warrants at a business being investigated for money laundering, customs fraud, and serious violations on sending money to criminal cartels that in Colombia and Mexico that fund criminal cartel activities in the United States. It's part of an overall conspiracy that ICE is investigating. So we're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation on cartel financing. So that's exactly what ICE did. And ICE took a lot of bad people off the street that day. We arrested gang members, arrested somebody that had an armed robbery conviction.
And now let's set the record straight. These weren't families out for frozen yogurt being tackled by stormtroopers. ICE was conducting a legitimate criminal investigation. They were arresting bad guys. Like really bad guys, money launderers, cartel affiliates, violent felons. But Newsom twisted it into a Trump versus poor immigrant families drama. He didn't just spin the facts, he rewrote the entire story. And in doing so, he sided against law enforcement, trying to keep communities safe. Let that sink in.
He's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society. He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of them.
This was Newsom's final act of melodrama. He stepped up to the mic, voice trembling, eyes misty, calling on governors across the nation to unite against Trump like it's the final battle in a Marvel movie. But at some point it stopped feeling noble and started feeling desperate. You can only cry fascism so many times before people tune out, especially when you're not offering any real solutions, just more outrage, more emotion, more buzzwords.
I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
This isn't inspiring, it's manipulative, and people are starting to notice the bottom line. Gavin Newsom has been playing a long game, carefully sculpting an image, avoiding tough decisions until it's politically convenient, and relying on charisma and woke buzzwords to sell the illusion of leadership. But now, thanks to a few accidental truth bombs from Bill Maher's savage roast from Joe Rogan and a reality check from Tom H. Homan House of, Cards is collapsing. He's not a man of the people. He's not a fearless leader. He's a political actor in a role he wrote for himself. And finally, the audience is starting to boo. So what do you think is Gavin Newsom cooked? Or does he somehow survive this PR firestorm? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this breakdown brought some clarity to the chaos. And hey, if you want more Takedown's truth bombs and unfiltered commentary, hit that bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay sharp. Music